So I would not be a football YouTuber if I did not do this video. My World Cup 2020 predictions for the group stages. If you do want me to do this for each knockout round, then please hit the like button. Let me know in the comments below. Would you like to see that? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on the group first. Is it going to come over for England? Probably not, but we can hope. Alright, so Group A, I'm doing this on Eurosport website just because it's the first one that I saw come up and it looks quite good. We've got Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal and the Netherlands. It's probably quite obvious that the Netherlands are going to win that group, with Senegal, Ecuador are actually looking quite good, but I don't think they're going to be able to get the best of Senegal and Qatar. I am probably going to be a bit obvious in this video. I'm not just going to put Qatar first for the sake of it to be different, but we're going to go with that. I did a video just yesterday actually about all the Nottingham Forest internationals at this tournament, Cheki Kouyaté being one of them, and I mentioned that I do like the look of their squad. Ecuador back in the World Cup would be good to see, but I just don't think Qatar will have enough. And quite frankly, I don't know any Qatar players, which I know, the shock of the world. Group B. All I know is the World Cup winner is in this group, and I'm not talking about England. If Media Man's watching, Jay, he'll want me to put Wales first. No, I'm not going to be stupid. I'm not going to do that. Wales second. England first. Probably have to be US and then Iran. I could see America coming second, you know, because America actually do have quite a good team on their hands. There's some good individual talent in there, but I'm not sure if they can do it as a group. And having watched various videos on the US, Maxwell in particular, fantastic channel. He's also a very good friend of mine, so that's why I mentioned that. He's not that confident, and I want Wales to do well because I go to Wales every year, and they have 3 Forest players in the team. So yeah, England, we should have enough to win this group. If we don't, then I'm just a bit embarrassed. I've never seen England ever win the group before, I don't think, besides the Euros last year. Like, genuinely, it just doesn't tend to happen. Group C, it's obviously going to be Argentina. I think they have potential to go all the way, but let's see if I do actually say that come the end of the video. Poland or Mexico, that is a very, very fine margin to decide, because Mexico have some good players, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know much about them since the last World Cup. Poland, they always tend to fail in the group stages of every tournament. The last 2 tournaments, they've been pretty awful. But I'm going to put Poland. Yeah, and I'm going to do it. Mexico, and I'm not going to lie, I don't know any Saudi Arabia players. So I'm going to say that. Matty Cash will score the winner against Argentina. Imagine the scenes, I'd love that. On to Group D, we have got France, Australia, Denmark and Tunisia. You're probably thinking, why am I questioning this? It's obvious who's going to come first. I feel like I can be really clever here, but also really stupid, because look at the last several World Cups. What's happened to the winner in the next tournament? They've been an absolute disgrace. Spain knocked out of the group stage after they'd won it in 2010. Germany knocked out of the group stage after winning it in 2014. France, who knows? I'm just saying. And honestly, the last World Cup, I was convinced France would win it, and they did. But I don't know if they've got the same, I don't know, they haven't got the same vibe about them anymore. They weren't that good in the build-up to this tournament in certain games. And I was thinking, France, have they dropped off already? And I just have a feeling Denmark were fantastic at the Euros. And I don't think it's what prevents me from putting France out of the group stage is the fact that I don't see Australia or Tunisia, no matter how bad France are, getting ahead of them. But I'm just speculating. So I've said all that just to put France first. But I'm just thinking, I want people to know that if France were to get knocked out, I was very clear that I could see it happening based off history. I like the look of Denmark though. Honestly, they were fantastic at the Euros last year, and let's be honest, they were very unlucky to get knocked out by England in that semi-final. I don't really know that much about Australia these days. I mean, I've got some alright players in there, but I'm probably going to say Tunisia and then Australia. Group E, we're going to go, oh, that's a big group, isn't it? Japan are actually quite decent. Now, of course, you got Germany and Spain. Costa Rica, not quite sure they are what they were in that 2014 World Cup, where they won the group with 3 World Cup winners in it. I'm probably going to say Spain to win that group. I think there's nothing too special about Spain at the moment, but overall they've got a very good team regardless. Germany, they're still kind of acclimatising to a new era under Hansi Flick, and I think they are vulnerable at times. They still can be, so I think Germany, I'm not entirely sure what to think of them at this World Cup. They're certainly going to want to do better than they did last time. I think Japan have a pretty good team on their hands. They were quite good at the last World Cup. And I'm going to put Costa Rica fourth. They have got Brandon Aguilera to carry them to success. And that success is going to be fourth in the group. Group F, it's... I don't actually know. Is it as straightforward? Is it as straightforward as you think? Is it Belgium or Croatia? Because Croatia got to the final last time. Croatia has some great players, but they are aging. They're getting a bit older. You know, Modric is like 35 at this stage. Brozovic, all them lads. Basically, if your name ends in it, you play for Croatia. But I'm going to have to say Belgium. Can you actually do something at this tournament, Belgium? You've been first in the world for God knows how long. They've never actually achieved anything besides failure. Croatia's got to be second. I think... I haven't predicted a single upset so far, have I? Like, I was debating putting France outside the top two, but I just can't see these two doing any better. But I do think Canada, they're going to be on an absolute high being at this World Cup. And I just don't know whether they have the minerals. I could see that happening, you know. I'm no disrespect to Morocco, but they're going to have to be fourth. But I could see Canada doing that. Like, am I mad? Probably yes. They've got Jonathan David, obviously. Richard Raya. So I could see that happening. But I think Croatia will have enough. I just think they will. Group G, it's got to be Brazil. I think they have, obviously, gigantic potential to win this tournament. I'm going to put Switzerland second. Remo Freuler, obviously, going to carry them to success. And I just think in general, Switzerland were good at the Euros last year. And I like the look of the Swiss team. Serbia do have some good players. That is a really, really tight gap between those two. Genuinely, I think Serbia could honestly finish second. But I would probably just edge Switzerland. And no disrespect to Cameroon, but I don't think they're going to have enough to get out of that group. So the final group, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay and South Korea. I think it's got to be Portugal. They haven't been amazing before this tournament. They didn't even win a group that they really should have been winning. But I just feel, looking at their team, I think they have some of the best individual talent across the entire pitch at this tournament. But in the build-up to this tournament, Portugal weren't particularly impressive. So I'm not entirely sure if it is such a foregone conclusion, but I would have to say first for Portugal there. Then Uruguay, they have obviously some great players on their hands, but I'm not entirely sure how far they can go in this tournament. It's a difficult one between these two. I'm probably going to say Ghana and South Korea, you know. I think I'll go with that. I mean, obviously it doesn't really matter because, you know, you get knocked out. It's not like the Euros where some third place teams can go through. But that is probably my group stage prediction. We're going to do knockouts now. Obviously a lot of this is now going to be hypothetical because some of these games won't even happen. Alright, the round of 16. Oh, so exciting, isn't it? So exciting. Oh, I'd love to see this game happen. Wales versus the Netherlands. Wales were quite good at the Euros and then they got knocked out in a pretty disastrous fashion against Denmark. Netherlands are another country that have potential to do that. But the Netherlands were quite disappointing at the Euros. And obviously they weren't even at the last World Cup. But I probably would have to say... Oh, could Wales win that? I don't know. I'm going to have to say the Netherlands. I've got to, really. I've got to be realistic. That would be a very, very tasty game. Argentina versus Denmark. I think Argentina, you know, I don't particularly want Argentina to win the World Cup because South American teams aren't the fairest nations at football historically. But I'd love Messi to win the World Cup. Like, I don't hate Ronaldo like some people do if you're a Messi fan, but I've always preferred Messi, and I think it's the only trophy he's not won. And I think a player as great as him deserves to win the World Cup. Denmark, though, they seriously have some good players. They really do, all across the pitch. It probably would be quite a disappointment if they got knocked out of the round of 16, but I have to say Argentina. Spain v Croatia, that's quite a tight matchup, you know, but as I was hinting at, Croatia are kind of on a downward spiral, so I probably would say Spain to go through there. Uruguay versus Brazil, the other way around. I've probably got to say Brazil. I think Brazil should really be beating Uruguay. England v Senegal. If we got knocked out here, I'll be incredibly disappointed. Senegal have a good team, but we should be beating them really. So I'm gonna have to say England there. France versus Poland. It's probably got to be France, hasn't it? Really, it probably has to be. Oh, that is a tasty game. Belgium versus Germany. I'm gonna have to say Germany. I think Belgium's. I don't know actually. Germany have some great players in their team, but they're not like the finished article. And Belgium are kind of coming towards the end of their golden generation. They didn't actually win anything. That's a really, really tight matchup, you know. I am going to edge Germany, though. I really am. And this one, Portugal versus Switzerland. It's probably got to be Portugal, hasn't it? I'm picking all the obvious ones. I don't want to do that, but I really hope we get some upsets in this tournament. I really do. But based off quality, you've got to be picking these nations, and I kind of feel like we've got to pick Portugal here. But you know what? No. Portugal weren't even that good in qualifying. They scraped through in this tournament. I'm saying Switzerland. Am I being really stupid for saying that? The Netherlands versus Argentina. We are going to go with Argentina, probably. I think they should really be beating the Netherlands. Probably won't be straightforward, though. Spain versus Brazil. There's only one winner there. It's got to be Brazil. That would be a fantastic game, that would. Oh dear. Think about it. At the Euros, no one thought we'd beat Germany, and we did. We beat a very good Denmark team as well, and we fell at the last hurdle. You could say Southgate Ball is going to, you know, prevent us, but he's got a very good record at tournaments. And I think tournament football is entirely different to qualification and friendlies in the Nations League. France, like I say, they've still got some unbelievable talent in that team, but they weren't even that good in qualifying. I wasn't even that impressed with them. And I just can't help but feel France, they don't have the same kind of vibe, and that World Cup curse, even if it's not them getting out the group stage, will they then go on and win it again? I just don't think they will. I'm being unbelievably biased. We're going to raise our game and we're going to beat the French. Yes, absolutely. You heard it here first. Germany versus Switzerland. Oh my God, I know what's going to happen here now. Germany versus Switzerland. Oh, that isn't as straightforward as you think. But I'm going to have to say Germany. Oh, I didn't expect this. I did not expect England v Germany. Right, first things first. Argentina v Brazil. Oh my God, that is so difficult. Two outstanding teams. They have some outstanding talent. Right. Part of me wants Argentina to win this because of Messi. But I also think Brazil, it's about time they won the World Cup again. And they got some outstanding talent in that team. But you know what? No. Argentina. I'm picking Argentina. And this, not Germany again. I'm thinking this, right? If we can beat Germany at the Euros, we can beat them here. And we saw in that last game that we played, we raised our game against Germany. And we played fantastic in that last 20 minutes in that Nations League game. Honestly, how am I predicting England to get to the World Cup final? Everyone in the comments is going to be screaming at me at this stage. I think Senegal's acceptable. I think Germany is acceptable. It's probably the France call that everyone's going to be thinking, David, you are the most biased predictor I've ever seen. But I've made my point clear. I don't think France are quite what they were. I'm actually going to predict World Cup final heartbreak. I'm sorry. I've got to be realistic at this stage. It's got to be Argentina, hasn't it? I don't know. I've got to do it. If we get to the final, it's an unbelievable achievement. But it's two finals, and I mean, this is the thing, like, people slag off Gareth Southgate, me included. Yes, he's had luck in these tournaments, but ultimately he's done, if he was to get to the final here, or even the semi-finals again, that's 3 tournaments in a row that England have done really well at. You know, you've got to remember, before Gareth Southgate, England were an absolute joke of a nation. Even though it's rather boring and he lacks that tactical ability at times, he has took England a very long way. Messi himself backs England to potentially win this tournament, and Erling Haaland. I'm not as retarded as I look after doing this, but I'm going to have to say Argentina. I've got to. You are missing some secondary predictions. All knockout fixtures required. What haven't I been? Oh, but regardless, what do you think of my predictions? I didn't think about this beforehand. I just did it to be as natural as possible, and that's how it's ended up falling. But that's what I've come up with. I'm looking forward to this tournament. I really am. If you have enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Up the Forest, up the England.